You can't run a successful project without having an effective team. And the best way to have an effective team is to have really strong people skills. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 top people skills project managers need to know. People skill number 1, negotiation. So negotiation really is finding a beneficial solution for everyone on your team, and that could include your direct team members, vendors, or suppliers. As a project manager, it's your job to ensure that you have the right plan in place, but not everybody's going to agree with you in regards to the direction that you're going. And in order to have a really successful team, you want to be collaborative in nature and ensure that everyone has bought into it, which is why negotiation skills are so important. If you don't negotiate, then there could be someone who's going to start putting in their own personal agenda because they don't feel heard. So how do you negotiate? Well, that's the first thing. Take the time to listen to what people are saying. If they're not agreeing with someone or something, don't just be flippant about it and disregard it. Actually take the time to go, hey, Jane, I can hear from you that you are definitely not agreeing with this, or there's parts of this that you're not agreeing with it. Please share with us why, and more importantly, what is a solution? And when you do that, you then can really work together to collectively as a group come up with what's going to be right for your project that's within your scope, time, and budget. And then you want to reintegrate what you negotiated back into your project plan. Definitely take your people skills one step further by checking this out. I'm going to give you more information later on in the video on how to get your hands on this. People skill number 2, adaptability. All right, adaptability is really important because within your projects, you have to adapt to change. And as a project manager, the reason why this is an important skill set for people is because you have to practice what you preach. You have to lead by example. And so if you're adaptable when it comes to project plans being changed, that you're adaptable when team members don't actually meet their target deadlines, and there could be very good reasons for it, right? But you need to adapt the plan in order to change that. Then what happens is that reflects back onto your project team. So you need to model that behavior of adaptability so they themselves can also then show that adaptability in their behavior and tasks and executions as well. So what are some things so that you can be adaptable? Well, the first thing you do is be open to change. That's the biggest thing. If you're going to be adaptable, well then guess what? Changes happen. In fact, I always say change is the only thing you can count on. Be flexible. Now, flexible and change can sometimes feel like it's the same thing, but there's slight differences. Knowing that change is going to occur is one thing. Being flexible with the change is something completely different. Yes, you know change is happening, but now the flexibility is the actual doing with it. So be flexible with your team. Know that things happen. Understand that. And that flexibility is really going to help you with being adaptable. Be prepared. In order to be adaptable as a skill set and to help your team, the best thing you can do for the project and yourself, and I talk about this in Slay all the time, is preparedness. Have a really good solid baseline plan, foundation to your project plan. So when adaptability, because I promise you, you're gonna have to do it, change always occurs, you then have something to work off of to help with the adaptability, to help with the change and the flexibility. And last is positivity. Look, you can never control time or what other people are doing, ever. So if you start reacting negatively to time and what other people are doing, I promise you, you're just going to spiral in this negative cycle, which is not going to help you with adaptability, and it's not something you want to model. But if you're positive, knowing that, hey, change happens, I'm prepared, I have everything in place and plan, and that positivity is going to come through, and your team members are going to pick up on it. They are going to realize that, look, stuff happens. I was going to say something else. Stuff happens. It's okay if we deal with it immediately and we course correct it. And if we've done really good planning, it should be minimized with how much change is going to occur. And that's where adaptability is such an important skill set. Before we get to the rest of the tips, I just want to let you know that not only do I have this free content on YouTube, I have this. If you want to go to the next step with me and you want to learn more at a premium level, you can enroll in Slay Project Management. It's the exact process I use for all my clients, including all the tools you'll need. I've put the link in the description box below. Teachability. project managers have to be open to learning new things constantly. Why? Because as you grow as a project manager, there's going to be things that you see that work, they don't work. There may be some new skills or templates that you have to use, or maybe a whole new program that you've decided to learn that's a practical project management program. Wink, wink. On that note, it is important, teachability. Not only that, there's a teachability aspect that you have to do to your team members because again, you may have different ways of working and that you need to share with them, hey, this is how I work as your project manager. You may be doing new things and therefore have to teach them. So teachability is a really big skill set because there's good and bad ways to teach others. Conflict management. I'd like to say you're never going to have any conflicts on projects. I'd like to say you are never going to have any conflicts in the working environment, let alone your personal life. But the thing is, you will have conflicts. So an amazing and a very important skill set to have as a project manager is going to be conflict management. How do you deal with it? So some key things just to know that this is something you should focus your attention on. It may feel uncomfortable. And I know for a lot of people, they do. It's really uncomfortable for them, so much to a point where they'll ignore it. And I promise you, that's not going to help you. It's just going to have you not deal with it for a bit, and things are just going to get bigger. So the key with conflict management is don't be afraid of it, number one. Number two, deal with it immediately. And then number three is ensure that you do it in a way that's professional and respectful. And the best way to do that is to take away any emotional charge and look at it from the facts. What was supposed to have happened, what actually happened, which is why you have conflict or something or an issue, and then what are the lessons learned or the resolution that you are going to do to ensure that you course correct this particular conflict that's occurring. And that could be a people conflict, a task conflict, whatever it may be. You can use that simple process. And if you understand conflict management and you get really good at it, it's just going to distinguish you from other project managers and even other people in your organization. So really, really important skill set. Don't be afraid of conflict. It's okay. Problem solving. As a project manager, you are always going to come across issues and then you have to come up with solutions to address those issues. That's problem solving. It's an amazing skill set to have and something that you have to do with not just by yourself, but with your team. So when you problem solve as a project manager, you want to do it collectively and collaboratively with your team. Organize a brainstorming workshop in order to help solve your problem. And the good news is, if you get really good at problem solving, it's a skill set that you're going to take with you just throughout your professional career, because we always have problems to solve, whether it's in a project or in your daily job. And if you can distinguish yourself with being an amazing problem solver, you actually are going to distinguish yourself from other people who may not be that good at it. People skill number 6, emotional intelligence. I've spoken about this before in some past videos. Emotional intelligence is the ability to have awareness of what's going around you, and by really focusing on the inward aspect. What are you sensing, feeling? And it's not just with other people. So if you're having a conversation with someone, they may be saying everything is okay, but you're sensing and feeling that, you know what, there's something off here. It's also with yourself. So understanding emotional intelligence is going to give you so much more information than you would if you were reading someone's email or just speaking to them and only listening to the words. Really picking up on what else is really going on here. Because one thing I do know is we get a lot more information through feeling and nonverbal cues than we do with the verbal cues. So really understanding emotional intelligence is a skill set you really need to master, not only professionally, but it's also going to help you personally. Last but not least, leadership. Okay, you are a project manager. You're not a task master. As a project manager, you have a team around you. You're not just there to execute tasks. If anything, you are a leader. Maybe project management or project manager should actually really be project leader, because that's what you're doing. You're leading a group of people who do not report into you to be motivated, to stay on track, to get things done when they're probably being pressured with a whole bunch of other things from their own managers and probably have a slew of other projects and activities they have to accomplish as well. So as a leader, you have to ensure that they're motivated. You have to ensure that you're, again, walking the talk, practicing what you preach, really giving them what they need by removing the roadblocks so that they can be successful. A really good leader as a skill set is a leader of servitude. How can I help you so that you're successful? Because ultimately, their success is the project success, which really is going to become your success as being a really good project manager / leader. Okay, you're here now. It's time for this. This is really important. We're just talking about people skills, but you also need to know how to ensure your projects don't fail. And there's some really good tips in here for you. How do you get it? It's in the link underneath this video. Make sure you watch this next video. It's a step-by-step guide on how to have a growth mindset as a project manager. On that note, if you enjoyed this content, please give it a like, share it, drop us a comment. We would love for you to subscribe and join this awesome community. Until the next video, see ya.